Hello, well, here's another episode in the series of ideas and suggestions on how you can promote and sell your book. And as you can see, the topic today is book reviews. Now, I would say that book reviews are generally an underutilized way of getting your book to a larger audience and getting more sales. So let's take a look at book reviews and see what you can do to make better use of them. The first thing to say is it pays to start early. People often think of book reviews as being something you've done after you've written your book, but getting the draft of your book review can be incredibly useful. And there's lots of parts to this as well. So it's certainly true that early feedback is invaluable. It can highlight all sorts of minor glitches or other issues about what you're writing that you can fix early on without having to rewrite everything if something comes up later. It's obvious, I would say, that you want to ask potential readers. And when it comes to a book which has an obvious range of readers, for instance, if it's an instructional book, you might say, well, some people wouldn't know very much and other people would know a lot. Well, you want one that doesn't know very much and one who's very experienced. And when it comes to something like fiction, somebody who's not really read this sort of thing before combined with somebody else who just loves this genre, you'll get benefit from both of those. And it also pays to ask a specialist, somebody who really knows about your subject or your kind of work. They'll give you invaluable advice and feedback in a way that other people won't. Now, whatever review comment you get back, you do need to take it on board. You don't have to agree with it. You don't have to make any changes as a result of reviews, but sometimes there's something in a review, even one you don't agree with, which highlights an issue that needs to be addressed. You have to have pretty thick skin when you ask for reviews, but don't have it so thick that you don't make any response to what people are saying to you. People don't always say exactly what they mean. You have to dig in and find out exactly what the issue is, and sometimes you have to probe and ask them further questions. But reviews, when probed into and thought about, can be absolutely invaluable, and this is still at the drafting stage before you've published anything. And also before you've published, you want to get endorsements, as I'd call them, they're a kind of review, before publication. If there's someone well known in your field, particularly if you're writing on a specialist topic, and you can get them to review the book and say nice things about it, that can be an enormous endorsement for you. You don't have to know this person. You could write and ask people, approach them. People don't mind generally being asked for their opinion about books that are going to be published. I've never seen any of the authors I work with actually have problems in approaching people and getting reviews, and some of the things you get back can be absolutely amazing. Also, if there's somebody who's very well known in the public eye who you think would have an interest in what you've written about, you could try approaching them, and you might be surprised how often you actually get a response. Well worth trying. And then these review comments and endorsements can be put on the cover of the book or just inside before it's even published, and my word, don't they make a difference sometimes. But once you have published, and of course it eventually happens, we hope, then what you need is online reviews. I would say that what I've seen is that for online bookshops, not just Amazon, but all the others as well, if you don't have any reviews on your book, you probably won't have any sales either. So it's vital to get people to write reviews. Now, there are very strict controls on reviews, and it's getting tougher and tougher. So friends and family might be blocked by whoever it is. People you have obviously contacts might be blocked as well. But really what you want is somebody who is a genuine, validated buyer of the book who is going to write a sensible review. Rave reviews don't really help. What you really like and can use to best effect is a review that sort of says, I was looking for a book that had blah blah blah, whatever it was, and I found this and it was just right for me because. that kind of review really works because another reader can get some sense out of it. It doesn't have to be full of glowing comments. It's better if it's slightly more considered, enabling another reader to decide. And if you get those reviews right, they will filter out people who shouldn't buy, but also focus on more people who will. So those online reviews are vital. But you know, it's no good just asking once. You just have to keep on asking. People, even friends and family, will say, oh yes, I'll review your book, I'll do it in a few days' time, and then they don't. So you have to go back and say, you know, you said you'd do that review for me. When do you think you might be able to do it? And again, with anybody who's recently bought or read your book, you ask them. And if they say they'll do a review and they don't, well, ask them again. There's a point when you have to give up, but for most people, you do have to ask, and probably several times over. And if you don't do that, then you won't have the reviews, and you'll really be undermining what is a significant opportunity for yourself. Well, I hope that's been useful, and on the screen you can see where you can get further advice and guidance. So that's another one in this series that we're now running on how to promote and sell your book. There are others in the series. There are other things on this channel. So please subscribe. See bottom right on the screen there. There's no fee for subscribing. Some people tell me, oh, I thought I had to pay. No, you don't. It's free on YouTube. And if you press the bell button, then you get notified when the next one comes along. Obviously, if you found this useful, it would be very nice if you'd like it. And if you'd share the link with anybody else, that's asking rather a lot. But if you think this is useful and you know somebody else it might be useful too, then of course you're doing them a favour. Well, that's probably enough of trying to persuade you to keep up with all this. Thank you for listening all the way through, and hope that you'll be back another time. But the last thing is this: if you've got any ideas or suggestions about what you'd like me to cover in future pieces, then do add comments below. I will take them on board, and I will most certainly try to come up with something useful, especially if you've taken the trouble to make those comments. So bye for now.